We have not yet perfected and a house setup that we are going to be using for a small bar. I mean, not bar, club. It's not a musical setup. It's a paging setup for when the DJ is not there. To tell you the truth, the bar I've been hired to install a sound system for knows nothing about sound equipment. So it'd actually be easier for me when they're not picking and choosing particular parts that they need that I have to go out and buy from certain Parts Express or Amazon or eBay. It just makes it easier for me knowing that there's no DJ who works full time who knows everything about sound or live sound tech that works there. So basically what I'm going to be showing you is the two options they have to go with. Now I already explained this to them. They're going to end up buying a mixer either way. I told them they could pick from a 4-channel mixer all the way up to a 24-channel mixer and up. But they really don't need 24 channels. So they're going to have an acoustic whatever every once in a while or some other small band. What they really need is something to when the bar is closing, they can just go and do this. The bar is closed, please leave. They can do that. So it'll be easier if they have a small setup that's easy to maintain and not a big setup like the one behind me. Let me get out of the way and show you the one behind me, which consists of two 12-inch woofers and 1.75-inch compression drivers. Get back in the frame. Now, I also have a smaller setup that uses a 8-inch woofer and a 2-inch tweeter. Now, it's a paper cone tweeter. It's a small setup, and I'm about to talk to that setup. Now, this is the setup that we have explained that will work just fine. This is one speaker running mono on a 250-watt amp, running a 8-inch Pyramid original speaker. Let me just get the camera on the actual speaker. An 8-inch speaker and a 2-inch tweeter. Now this is the setup we proposed for them that we could do for under $100 because the actual speaker I got out of a buyout. They were cheap. The woofer was $14. The tweeter was 89 cents. Now, it's not the most musical, but it's powerful for speech, right in that 1 kilohertz down to 500 up to 1200 hertz. It's a very powerful system, long throw system in that manner. Same as with my big PA behind me. Now this is running 250 watts times 1 with an amp that puts out 250 watts times 2 at 8 ohms. This is a 4-ohm speaker, so it's going to put out a little bit more than 350 watts aside at 4 ohms. It's a cheaper amp, but it's really all we need. And since they're not running that far away from the amp, we can do this without using 70-volt systems. Now, I explained to them if they wanted to do a more elaborate kind of setup, we could have a house PA setup that we could have hanging from the walls and the subs hidden away in corners. This setup will cost them about $1,000, not $100. Now this setup is more reliable, it's a more powerful setup, it's a more actual full range setup.
When I talk through this setup, you can actually hear it and feel it compared to the vocal setup. This is a more full, more low-end kind of setup because of the 12-inch woofer and the 18-inch subwoofers. Now this setup would run them about $1,000, but it is still a much better setup. We would install that for about $200, and we get that all set up. Now, the way that this club is set up is they have a little stage for the DJ, and this actually would work for the DJ just fine, unless they wanted real powerful lows. We would add 2 more 18-inch subs, or we would switch over to running Behringer SRX series, JBL SRX series 7 to 8 subs. And we get 2 of those in there, and they'd be able to feel the bass and that energetic feel. Now, the way that they could have it set up also is, and if they didn't just want to set up in the front of house and they wanted rear surround speakers, I said it wouldn't sound the best, and they kind of liked the idea of having surround sound. So what I said is, well, we can always put these
setup that we have specially designed for you, and we can always add in the setup behind me and put those 2 speakers in the back, and these 4 speakers in the front, or 8, that just depends on which model or how much sound they really need, and we would go from there. Now, please, if you would, leave a comment in the comments section saying which system you would pick for your, if you owned a bar, which system you would pick, which system you would feel more comfortable having, or just which system you think looks better and sounds better. Now I'm just going to give you that demonstration again. We have the setup, which is good for vocal range, with an 8-inch woofer, 2-inch tweeter. That is the setup I am talking to currently. It is running on a 250 watt amp, receiving about 300 watts because it's in 4 ohms. Next,
we have the big PA behind me running at 1,100 watts just for the voice range, and 1,000 watts aside for the subs. Now that is the setup I'm talking to right now. It has a more overall rich sound. It's more long throw, and of course that's more powerful thanks to the 12-inch woofer. So you leave a comment down in the comment section below saying which system you would want in your bar or club, and I will pass these comment suggestions on to the bar owner. Thank you, practice and enjoy, and have a great Easter holiday.